What up, friends? Thanks for watching my YouTube channel. I break down fights, and I'm going to show you a quick 1-minute breakdown. Holly Holm, former UFC champion, against Steve-O. You might have known him from Jackass or just from being Steve-O. Again, it's Holly Holm, former UFC champion, grappling, sparring, whatever you want to say, with Steve-O. I shared this today, and it's shocking the way people interpret it. I want you to take a look at this, and then I'll come back and we'll chat about it, okay? Holly Holm and Steve-O. Enjoy the hostilities. Robin Black 1-minute breakdown, intergender fighting championship, Steve-O versus Bink Holly Holm. Now, every time I post a training session like this, there's some nonsensical responses from untrained, illogically overconfident men saying, she wouldn't do that to me. Gentlemen, of course she would. Steve-O's an athletic stuntman, and she destroys him. As Steve-O attempts to acquire a leg, Holly squashes him face down, sternum to upper back, and digs under to gain leverage. Now, from this strong, mechanically advantageous position, she tears and drives from the ground, ripping and turning. This wide, powerful lower body position is dominating Steve-O, pressuring him while blocking the left side as she controls the chin. She'll release the chin to annihilate him with elbows, but mercifully, she simply demonstrates rather than destroying the bones of his face. And as Steve-O turns towards her, she flows into the crossface, bullies him, and steps over to take the back. She reshapes her biology to block the blood flow to the man brain and then extends to flatten and finish. Yes, this would happen to 99% of you men. Good night, Steve-O, and enjoy the hostilities, my friends. Okay, fun, right? Steve-O's trying to grab Holly, and she just rips him to the ground and manhandles him. Now, I posted that. I posted these 1-minute breakdowns on Instagram and Twitter and all over the place, just wherever 1 minute makes sense. And it is shocking how many untrained people, males in this case, because of the nature of what I was showing, actually, although they have zero specialized expertise in the world of fighting, will literally be like, bro, you're wrong. And I know sometimes people are kidding, but there's people deadly seriously that do think that although Holly Holm is a champion martial artist who's dedicated a lifetime to it, that they truly believe that they could handle this. Now, of course, that's crazy, right? Nobody thinks that they could beat the best female golfer in the world at golf, despite the fact that they don't golf. Nobody thinks that about basketball. Nobody thinks that about brains, anything. Nobody logical thinks that about anything. But there's something about combat that's somewhere deep into the minds and the soul of a particular type of human male, despite the fact that they actually have no specialized knowledge on it, truly believe that if the shit hit the fan, they could do it. And that's okay. I mean, it's not necessarily a safe belief, right? Our confidence in anything we do in life needs to be rooted in experience and truth and knowledge. To just somewhere in your DNA or your environment or whatever, to convince yourself that you could fight, even though you do not know how and have never in any way prepared to do so, is probably dangerous. But aside from that, it's also very illogical. And I think that's where I see this fascination, or I become fascinated when I'll show something like this, where clearly somebody with, 20 or 30,000 hours of expertise in something, and then say, although you may be bigger and stronger, or your gender may be different, you actually don't have any specialized knowledge in that. And people will find that to be shocking, or that will create debate, bizarrely. But I think this is something called the dunning-kruger effect, where if I take 100, in this case males, who have done 100 hours of training, martial arts training, environmental martial arts training in a place. 100 hours of martial arts training is nothing. If you went 5 hours a week, it's not even half a year. You know nothing. At that stage, they know just enough to know that a high-level martial artist, female, male, teenager, doesn't matter, would destroy them. They've learned just enough to know that they know nothing, right? But if you take somebody who is literally nothing, they will disagree with me. They will, although they have no knowledge, no specialized knowledge whatsoever, they will disagree and say, bro, you're wrong. Now, why is this interesting? Well, human behavior is weird and fun and bizarre, right? But it's also interesting because it gives us insight into some of our problems with sort of cognitive dissonance. Literally knowing nothing about something and then being certain that what you know is relevant is a real hindrance to the way all of us live in the world, right? Like I said, 100 people with any amount of training, you will not find one in disagreement that if they had to fight Holly Holm in any environment, in the street, in the bar, in the gym, in a cage, in the octagon, doesn't matter, she would destroy them. They have just enough knowledge to know that's so. But somebody with zero will literally go, but bro, it's not like football or golf. Strength matters. One, Holly Holm's probably stronger than you, but besides the fact, strength is a tiny sliver of an attribute-based physical conflict. Strength, there's speed and ability to manage your heart rate, how you handle stress, how you recover, how quickly you burn out, and just even being able to stay in balance. A human being who's never thrown a punch literally does not understand that they are, 5,000 hours from even, 500 hours from even being able to land it cleanly on someone of their level. Somebody who's never trained and they stand in the Holly Holm or a professional fighter, they could throw 100 punches. They won't, because they will be exhausted after they've thrown 13 or 14. And none will land because it's complex. It's like literally it's so similar to saying, I could hit a fastball thrown by a major league pitcher. If you'd played minor league baseball, you would know how ridiculous that is. But if you'd never swung a bat, you actually could tell yourself that that's so. Now, why is this? Why are we like this? We're humans. We're just trying to do our best. We're not trying to go through the world improperly or fuck with our own abilities to be able to understand the world around us. Why would we be like this? It's a protective mechanism. The second that you admit that something requires training or knowledge or learning, or it's a long road to get there, you then have to either admit, I will choose to take that road and improve my skills or knowledge or experience or the way I play piano or how I could fight or how I can drive a car, or not. Whereas if you tell yourself, some of us are very special, and I might be one of those. If it came down to it, yes, I could knock out Mike Tyson. It's illogical. I know this is me. Thank you for hanging out with me, by the way. And thank you for watching my YouTube channel and being curious about the way how we view fighting can be extrapolated into how we view the world. But to get right to it, I am shocked. You know what? I take that back. I'm no longer shocked. In fact, now it seems normal. One funny thing, though, that I will tell you is when somebody will say, bro, and I'm not trying to make fun of bro culture. I go to gyms and lift heavy weights, so, no offense. But somebody will say, bro, I know that I could beat a female fighter, professional fighter, because I'm big and I'm strong and I'm tough and I'm a man. I'm not shocked about that anymore. But what's weird is when they do that, you'll say to them, you immediately know they've never trained a minute in a gym. Because if you've ever been in a gym, you have seen, let's say you've trained for 5 years, you've seen 100 big, strong male blue belts get tapped out by little female black belts. If you've been in a boxing gym and 4 or 5 years, you have seen if you'll find 100 males that are willing to spar with the women. I got my best training ever when I was a pro fighter, training with Sandy Segura. She was the Canadian bantamweight, or Canadian lightweight in boxing, bantamweight in MMA, Canadian boxing champion in my weight class. She beat the shit out of me, but I got so much out of it. If you've ever boxed and you've seen young, men with 2 years training try to spar with a woman with 6 years training, you'll immediately see them get murked. If you do go to an MMA class and some guys are, got a blue belt in Jiu-Jitsu and, a year of kickboxing, and they will do live sparring with women of similar or even smaller size who are pro fighters, you'll see them get wrecked. If you have any amount of exposure to martial arts training, what I'm saying is not the slightest bit shocking to you. What it is, as I was getting at, weirdly shocking, is so many of us go through the world and literally argue. We'll go on to messages or Twitter, or we'll yell at our TV, and although we have zero specialized knowledge in something, we will argue with experts who are graciously or for fun or on television, or we pay them or whatever, they're trying to share their expertise on something that they've been studying for a lifetime. People actually argue that. It's shocking to me. That part is shocking. It's also dangerous. Expertise is a real thing. Expertise is a real thing. If you watch Mark Cuban on Shark Tank and you're like, bro, I'd be better at this than Mark Cuban, and you've never run a business, you're crazy. Expertise is a real thing. And let me end it with this, something positive. There are two ways to view the world. A fixed mindset, where you say, I am what I am, I'm great, or, I'm not that great. Whatever you believe, that's and that will never change because it's fixed. The growth mindset says, wherever I apply effort, I will improve and I will grow. And the growth mindset, you start at white belt. Everybody starts at white belt. And then you gather knowledge and you move down the path, continually gaining knowledge, and learning and growing and becoming better at whatever you put effort into. But to do that, we have to resist forming an opinion on things that we haven't studied. And even things we have studied. Let's say we studied something for 3 years. Studied Jiu-Jitsu for 3 years of your life. If you start debating everything, I know something and I will debate it. You're limiting your ability to learn because you think you already know. If you studied something for 3 years and you think you already know, what could you possibly know in 25 years? If you study something for 3 years and say to yourself, God, I don't know very much of what's possible to be known. You keep that open mind, you continually learn, and you grow and you improve. But in closing, Holly Holm would beat the shit out of 99.9% of untrained males of any size on planet Earth. I've dedicated my life to studying martial arts, and I've spent many thousands of hours in a gym. I had 9 pro fights. I've been tapped out by dozens of female black belts. I got beat up by one of the best boxers in Canada that happened to be female for years, and I've seen it. Anyone who's spent any time in a gym has seen it over and over again. It is factual. Gender has nothing to do with it. Attributes, skills, training, experience. You know how long it takes to gain 10 years of experience? It takes 10 fucking years. Thanks for humoring me. Thanks for watching, and thanks for sharing my YouTube channel with people. If you want a t-shirt that says Bink or Enjoy the Hostilities, they're at shoprobinblack.com. And I've got hundreds and hundreds of breakdowns on at Robin Black Martial Arts on Instagram and at Robin Black MMA on Twitter. Thanks again. Much love. This was fun. Enjoy the hostilities, my friends.